I will now pre-trip the inside of the school bus in the driver's area. So what you want to do is to go from top to bottom as much as possible so you don't overlook any of the components. And so starting over here, we see the driver's dome light, securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, not cracked, broken, dirty, or missing. Over here there is the sun visor. The sun visor is securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, not cracked, broken, dirty, or missing. There is the the student rear view mirror over here, securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, not cracked, broken, dirty, or missing. The driver's fan, securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, not cracked, bent, dented, or damaged. Over here, the body fluid cleanup kit, securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, it's not cracked, broken, dirty, or missing, and it's fully stocked with clean supply. So is the first aid kit over here, securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, not cracked, broken, dirty, or missing, and it is fully stocked with clean supply. The head guard over here, securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, and it is not worn, torn, cut, or frayed. Then I look over here at the seat belt. It's securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, not worn, torn, cut, or frayed. Over here I look at the seat. The seat is securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts. The cover is not worn, torn, cut, or frayed, and the seat itself is not cracked, bent, dented, or damaged. And we see over here the red emergency triangles in their box. It's securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, not cracked, broken, dirty, or missing. And the triangles come with extra fuses. And we also need to point at the fire extinguisher over here. The fire extinguisher is securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, not cracked, bent, dented, or damaged. It reads in the green, and the inspection tag is up to date. It is not dirty, it is not worn, torn, cut, or frayed. There is no missing number or letter. And it is important in order to get credit for these three, you need to mention the triangles, the fire extinguisher, and the extra fuses. If you miss any of these three, you do not get credit for that item. So it's important to cover all that. And then when you're done covering all that, you have a seat, put my glasses on, put my belt on, and then I turn on the engine. Now we'll talk about my switchboard. So I will close my door to talk about the switchboard. There is the fan over here. And you need, when you talk about the switch for the fan, you need to show the examiner that you feel the air coming from the fan with your hand, like this. So that way the examiner can give you credit. The stairway heater, same over here. I need to demonstrate with my hand. Okay, it works, it's fine. The defrost over here with this switch over here. Okay, I feel the defrost, we're good to go. Then there is the rear heater, we hear it in the back. We're good. The boost pump, the switch is to send more of the heat to the back. That's what that switch is for. Then the heated, there's a heating element in these mirrors, so you can use the switch over here if it's cold or whatever to heat your mirrors. And then the strobe light, there's a switch for the strobe light. You can leave it on all the time if you want. And these three switches over here, those three are for my dome lights. So there is an activity light all the way to the back when in the corner behind me, behind my, all the way in the back to behind my seat. There is a driver dome light right over here. We just talked about it a few seconds ago. And that switch over here is for the rest of the dome lights. If you want all of the students to have dome lights in the bus, that's important in the dark, that it be on for safety reasons and for you want to prevent inappropriate behavior. You don't need to tell the examiner about this part, but that's good to know. Then over here, these switches, these 3 switches, those are for your 8-way system, your 8-way lights. There is a master switch over here. This should always stay on when you transport school students. You would leave it off only when, let's say you use that bus as a charter bus. Otherwise, leave it on, otherwise you will not be able to activate your 8-way lights. This over here is your switch for the amber lights. So when I turn it on, I see the amber lights. My light monitor here indicates that my amber lights are on. And over here on my dashboard, it says amber flasher. So it indicates that my amber lights are up. And then whenever I open the door with this switch over here, my light monitor indicates that my lights switch from amber to red. Same over here on my dashboard. It says red flashing light instead of amber. And my stop sign came out. My 2 stop signs, actually. This bus has 2. And my student cross gate or student cross arm right in front of the bus came out. And the door, of course, is open with the stairway light on. And then when I shut this down, when I close the door, everything goes back to normal. So the 8-way lights go off, the stop signs come off, and the student cross arm. This over here is an override switch. So if I want to activate the red lights with the stop sign and the student cross gate, I can flip this switch and everything comes on regardless of what I do with the door or with the amber lights or whatever. And then it stays on until I touch this switch again. Otherwise it's not gonna go away. Just like this. There is a no noise switch over here. So let's say you have your heaters on, you cross the railroad track, you need a moment of silence to pay attention to what's going on. You press the no noise switch, so that way the noise is shut down. Then when you're done with it, you can take it off. So that's what it is. Over here, those buttons over here is for the air circulation, and this one is for the heat. So you can leave it this way in the summer, but when you need more heat, you put it on the right hand side. So that's what these switches are for. Over here, those switches are for my mirrors, because these mirrors over here, my flat mirror and my convex mirror, they are electric mirrors. And it's important when you do your pre-trip, tell the examiner, make the point that you're adjusting your mirrors. It is not assumed that because you adjusted your mirrors already and they're properly adjusted, that you know about adjusting your mirrors before you take the bus on the road. So make a point to tell the examiner that you adjust your student rear view mirror, your flat mirrors, your convex mirrors, and you use the switches over here to do so, just like this, see? And you do that for every mirror. Of course, I already adjusted the cross view mirrors. They are not controlled by these switches. You have to do it manually. But I mentioned, I don't take any chance, I will mention to the examiner that yes, the cross view mirrors are adjusted the way I need them to drive safely. So that's about it for the switchboard. Now you look at your steering wheel. So your steering wheel should have a play of no more than 10 degrees. Don't forget to blow your horn. Also, you have to mention, if it's not done already, that there is no illegal sticker in your windshield. Then you turn your headlights on over here. Over here there is my that handle that's for my wiper and my washer fluid. So what you do, you demonstrate your wipers, you tell the examiner that it works, but make sure that you hold that sprayer, because if you don't hold it long enough, the wipers will react, but maybe it won't long enough for the sprayer to react, and the examiner will not be able to give you credit. So hold that sprayer until it sprays and mention to the examiner, my sprayer works properly. That way the examiner can give you credit for that. Then after that, you present the different gauges on your dashboard. So over here, this gauge over here is for the that's a transmission gauge. It should read, it's building up right now because we just turned on the engine, but normally it should be between 130 Fahrenheit and 190 Fahrenheit. Then over here, there is the temperature gauge. The temperature gauge should read between 180 and 190 Fahrenheit, not to exceed 220. Of course, this one is building right now too. Over here we have the engine oil gauge. It should read between 40 and 60 psi. So this is good. Now over here, that's empty. There's no voltmeter. Pardon me, no amp meter. I don't know why this bus does not have an amp meter, but many buses do. So if you test on a bus that has an amp meter, the gauge should look just like this, and the amp meter should be about just like that. It should be at 0 or near 0. If it's all the way to the left or all the way to the right like this, there's something wrong. You need to report it to the maintenance shop if this is the way it is. It should read this way near 0. Then there is my tachometer right over here, and of course the number of RPMs vary depending on if it's idling or I'm at highway speed or I'm accelerating. But right now it should be at 700 RPM, so that's about right. It should never, even when you accelerate, really it shouldn't go over 2500 RPMs. If it goes more than that, let the maintenance shop know. Over here I have my speedometer. Over here I have my odometer and message box. Over here I have my voltmeter. The voltmeter should read between 12 and 14 volts. Over here I have my fuel gauge. It should be at adequate level. Over here I have my air pressure gauges. There are two because I have 2 air tanks, and they're building up too. They should read at approximately 120 psi. So that's about it over here for the dashboard. Over here I almost forgot, there is the hazard light switch, so don't forget to to present that whenever the examiner, you check your lights with the examiner later on during your test. That's about it.